Look at this. Well done, Glenn. Now you got a couple hundred metres to go. Well done, brother.
Well, may we say, God save the Queen, because nothing will save the Governor General. Hey, mate.
Well done, Glenn. I'm Gary. How are you? I've got this how long? You know. I know you know. Before. I know we've been together. What? I've been before. Yeah. That's a bad thing.
I can remember when you played in the hotel.
Right. What? Well, maybe you should.
I'm not a
You did with a new shirt.
I have 2 or 3 years now, but that's about it. Well, you should. I thought you were all right. Come on, let's get this done. Okay, fan out again. Give me a hold. Okay. Right, what we're going to do, we're going to give our fallen a minute's silence in respect of their sacrifices for this great nation, our home, Australia, our veterans, their families, and then more importantly, we're going to have another minute's silence for the 750 plus veterans that since government decided statistics were available, is that 2001 or something, we've lost 750 plus veterans. Well, nothing but a Royal Commission, an independent one at that, for those 750 plus. So, ladies and gentlemen, bare heads, face the house. Hey, everyone, got your about turn. Go back on the other side of the car. Stay with our back. Select to that house. Up there on the hill. That's our history. That's our forefathers, our grandparents, their great-grandparents. That's where we pay our most humble respect. Unlike our government. All right. Come a little bit further forward. Come in. Okay. Welcome. 2nd of February 2021. And VLM, Veterans' Lives Matter. And all we want is what the injustices, more so since 1976 than any other time. But what we want is a Royal Commission, not a band-aid, not a terms of reference set down by a government. We want an independent Royal Commission and nothing but an independent Royal Commission. As stated to you earlier, there's nearly 600,000 signatures across 7 petitions. And Julianne Finney, we pay you the most humble respect, a grieving mother, that yesterday it was 2 years since Dave took his life to the black dog. I promised Julianne that with my army car, that I couldn't put the image of her son on the car, but everywhere I go, her son will travel and part of the story. Around that car, all those other images on those printed out laminates represent between 50 and 60 veterans that have taken their lives to suicide through the failings of the Departments of Veteran Affairs and the failings of our governance. Okay? You all know my story. Now right today, I want to hear yours. What drives you? Why are you so passionate? what it means to be a veteran and having to deal with that black dog. Myself, 10 years, here on, pushing VLM, 5 years in the process with my car. You all know my story, but I want to hear yours. Trevor, would you like to speak?
For those who have not met, Trevor Sutton's my name, from Taraga. I drove here, unlike some people who walk here, to be here on this very important day. This must cease. There are people in the house behind you who will tell you that this is a very complex matter. It needs years of thought. No, it doesn't. It's not complex, it's very simple. We are tired of the lies, the deceit, the obfuscation, the secret meetings behind closed doors. This is not what this nation stands for, this is what we've got. I'd ask you to consider the possibility that the numbers that we're speaking of, and that Glenn spoke of a moment ago, were not only suicides, but did not include the attempts suicide and the self-harm and the abuse and domestic violence and all the things that go with this. Just imagine for a moment those figures were being emulated in organisations around this country, corporations. 700 or 800 people would take their lives. We would not hear the end of that. It would be front page news every day. It would be lead story every night. But what do we get? We get a wall of silence. And that's not strictly true. We don't get a wall of silence, we get a wall of noise. It's like Phil Spector's wall of noise in music before he was infamous. That noise is made up of obfuscation and lies and deceit and backstabbing, and it's fed to us and we accept it as the truth. The noise is made up of convincing people, some of whom in that house are men and women of integrity, who are persuaded to go to what we always in dark humour call the dark side. Get along to get along. Come along with us into the majority. Let's do a deal in the back room. And some of them go along with it, as we know, and some of them say no. And that's where we stand today. This is not the first government who has walked away from veterans. If you look at the current Prime Minister, if you look at the ministers, if you look over their shoulders, you'll find it not standing on the shoulders of giants, most of them. They're standing on the shoulders of pygmies. Many governments have not stood by us, so we are standing for us and by us. To Glenn and to Glenn, I thank you both. You truly are men of integrity. I thank you. How many people walk that far for a cause this important? Many who could have, would have. But he stood up, not because he's a veteran, but because he has love and respect for veterans. I salute you both. I'm one of the lucky ones. Yes, I served in Nam, but I did in such a way that I came back relatively unscathed. I don't ask my friends and family for confirmation of that, but I am in fact one of the lucky ones. I stand as an RSL member and a proud one, but I am not proud of the organisation I represent at Senior Vice President level when I know they were part of that secret deal of 12 months ago, behind closed doors, bought, sold and wrapped. I say that with no pride whatsoever. Some of you don't know that story, see me later. But this is not about me, this is about these two gentlemen and the veterans' lives matter. Nothing but a genuine, impartial Royal Commission with fully funded resources will be enough. Nothing less. Not because we deserve it, but because we are worthy of it. There's a huge difference. Thank you.
Good morning all, my name is Peter Mansbridge, volunteer Veterans Advocate. I have been for the past 12 and a half years. My general experience and my own personal experience as an advocate representing veterans in their claims and dealings with the Department of Veterans Affairs, and more recently with my contact that I've had to make with the so-called National Commissioner for Defence and Veteran Suicide. The reason why we do need a Royal Commission is I am representing at the moment a veteran who has, as you said, attempted suicide. The claim was lodged with the Department of Veterans Affairs. The claim was denied, rejected, because under the Defence Related Claims Act 1988, or the Safety Rehabilitation Compensation Act 1988, which now includes DIRCA, Section 14.2 excludes self-inflicted injury. So for any veteran or veteran's family to try and lodge a claim for either suicide or attempted suicide under that Act, that claim will be rejected on the grounds that it was a self-inflicted injury. Therefore, it's excluded from liability and compensation. The National Commissioner's Office, when I've contacted them, I spoke to a gentleman by the name of Tom, who was in their legislation team. I advised him of the incident and what was happening. He was unaware of the exclusion under the Act, and he's actually in their legislation team, which I thought was a bit strange, because I thought one thing they would be looking at was the three different acts. They're representing suicides. I thought they'd go to the sections to cover suicides, or attempt suicides, and chase up and learn the legislation, but obviously they don't. I'd sent him the determination. I'd sent him my reasons why I believe it should have been appealed, and I sent him my statement of facts and contentions to appeal that decision to the AAT. He came back to me and said, there's nothing that the Office of the National Commissioner for Defence and Veteran Suicide can do. The only thing I can do was go to appeals@dva.gov.au and lodge an appeal. So they are a toothless tiger. The office is set up, the last figure I heard was 40-something million. For what? Sitting in an office twiddling his thumbs? Because they can't do anything against the Department of Veterans Affairs to investigate determinations that have been made incorrectly. And that's a very apologetic term to say incorrectly. I could say a lot more harsher than that. But after 12 and a half years of being an advocate, you get used to what goes on in their offices. Again, under their legislations, like I said, the National Commissioner's Office of the Veterans Defence of Veteran Suicide can't investigate into the Department of Veterans Affairs, so I don't know why, whenever I see on TV that they mention about the National Commissioner having all of these powers, I was advised by that office that they would have the powers to actually try and alter and change legislation. When I questioned them on them to look at the legislation within that DIRCA Act to change it so that they can remove that Section 14.2 for the self-inflicted injuries, I was advised they couldn't do that. So you're getting told furfies from wherever you go. That's about all I've got to say at the moment.
Peter?
Thank you, sir. Hello, folks. I'm probably an unexpected arrival. A couple of days ago, Glenn and I spoke on the phone and he invited me to come down today. I'll only keep you for a couple of hours, but my service was in both infantry and intelligence in the Army, so I got to see a fair bit of what goes on, what doesn't go on. My brother served in the infantry, was killed in Vietnam in 1965. And wherever I go in a situation that has anything to do with veterans or whatever, I bring his presence with me, because at 19 I'm living the life that he never got to live. And so for my sins, I worked in that building behind you for a while as an advisor to a member of Parliament. And some of the things I'm going to say to you probably might be unusual, they might not sit well with you, But it's not only the government that's at fault here, because the politicians come and go. The people who stand behind them and who advise them and who change the legislation and administer the legislation are the public servants in the departments. And that is one of the most substantial and significant areas that needs to change. Sometimes the legislation's not at fault. Sometimes it's the way it's administered. And that not only applies to veterans legislation, but also applies to other areas. And we can look at the family court and all sorts of other areas where the legislation's quite valid and quite sound, but the people who administer it don't do a very good job of it. And these are career public servants whose pay is guaranteed and they'll never lose their jobs for screwing it up. They don't know and don't care what happens outside the four walls of their office, wherever they sit, wherever they are in the country. The reason for an independent Royal Commission, we haven't got to look very far to look at the Australian Constitution, and under Chapter 3 of the Constitution, the courts and the judiciary enjoy what we all call the separation of powers. And that separation of powers means that the judiciary and the courts are independent of the government, and they cannot be influenced by government policy or by government whim, depending on what's happening on the day. So there should be, and there isn't, any political influence on the outcome of a judicial decision. What's being proposed as a national commissioner is just an extension of the government of the day. It's a job for mates, and like a lot of tribunals and whatever that exist around Australia today, they are merely an extension of government policy. They're not independent. You don't get a fair go. If you're up against a department, those of us who've sued the Commonwealth, done that as well, you find out that if you're in a tribunal and not at an independent inquiry, then you're up against the government. And they've all got deep pockets. And usually us as veterans are scraping by on what we've got, and it's usually not very much. So how can we take on the government? How can we take on anybody unless we get broad grassroots support from the general populace? And that's part of the reason why we're here today, is to bring this to the forefront of people's minds, to say that we need the help of the general population of Australia to give us some support. Now, of course, we see politicians and we see general public who'll come out on Anzac Day and wave and clap and do all those things and get a photograph with a digger, and the politicians are the worst offenders of that. But they haven't got a clue, most of them, what it takes to put on the uniform and to do anything past that point. Whether it's parade ground drill, whether it's putting the kit on and going into a hostile environment, or whatever it is, they have not the faintest idea. They think that it's good enough to chummy up beside a veteran and get a photograph taken on Anzac Day or some similar thing, and they feel good about themselves for doing it. But it's not enough, and it never will be enough. People who haven't worn the uniform don't know what it's like. And while I'm on the subject of uniforms, PTSD and other related conditions are not solely the domain of veterans. You look at any police, fire and ambulance group, nurses, they all go through very, very similar things, and they deserve our respect and recognition as well. And I mention them purely because I've got the microphone. I can say whatever I like. And while I've got that subject in my mind, and I said I'd take a while, the government not only ignores issues like veteran suicide, they ignore other issues that contribute to veteran suicide. And we can look at the peacekeepers who've been put in hostile environments and not recognised for the fact that they risk their lives day in and day out to make the world a better place. We can look at the guys in the 4th Battalion who kept the Malay-Thai border safe post the first Malayan emergency, who've never been recognised for being in a hostile environment, in a war environment, because the government decided that it was over. We can look at similar people who've done similar things. The guys, the 9,000 soldiers who served in Rifle Company Butterworth while the second Malayan emergency was on, who when they were charged whilst on war service, but don't receive any recognition or any veterans' entitlements for what they've done. In each case, the Department of Veterans Affairs has commented to the government they don't have the budget. And there is evidence of those communications. So quite often we're up against people who are bean counters and penny pinchers who haven't got the faintest idea what they're denying. They don't know what it's like to serve in any branch of the military, or if we have state government level police, fire, ambulance, and I'm sure the Australian Federal Police would feel the same way. So as a group, we represent a lot of people in the greater civil population who are veterans and veteran supporters, family and extended family. But anything short of an independent Royal Commission is simply not good enough. We're worth more than that. The government is better than that, or it bloody should be. They shouldn't be satisfied to sit on their freckles in that building and give a job to one of their mates to be a commissioner whose charter will be, you can bet your life, to deny the veterans the justice that they deserve. That's it. Thank you.
Gary Hancock.
Told you I didn't want to talk.
Thankfully, we have experts, Will Stephen and many others, who dedicated
I
their
know,
lives to better
but your voice needs to be heard.
problems and how we can solve them. We already have the technology
G'day guys, thanks for coming today.
and the know-how to get
I hate you, Glenn.
No, you don't, brother. You love me.
I don't.
there's a narrow window.
I don't like talking in public at all. I spent all my life avoiding everything.
This could be a huge threat or a massive opportunity for us as a country.
I'm a veteran too, but I really can't say a lot, and that's why I don't talk a lot. But I've just gone through a civilian fight for 9 years, and it's very similar to the DVA. They're just there to screw you over. I've spent 9 years, countless times. I've almost killed myself. I know where you guys are coming from, and I support you. I really don't have a lot to say, so I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, you're getting the gist of this. From this gathering here, you'll go home, you'll speak with your families, it's live stream. Okay? The world is listening. There's a lot more numbers to come here. This is just keeping it in the public eye, showing the government we're not going to go away. And as the saying goes, from little things, big things grow. Anzac Day 2021, all going well. In every state, capital, federal, and more importantly here, on this ground, there will be thousands. The government must listen to us, to our families. And more importantly, in honour of all those pictures that are around on my car, including those that are embossed on my car, with the permission of their families, most prominent, Private Jesse Bird, pointing out to a nation, not one more. I don't want to lose another brother. I don't want to lose another sister. Whether that brother or sister has lost their life in conflict, more importantly, if that brother or sister has taken their lives because of the failings of the department, the failings of governance, we need to get out there. We need to keep growing numbers. 7th of December 2020, I stood here, same position, 14 families. I'm only a small piece of this jigsaw puzzle. When we finish here today, the rains go over to the Veterans Royal Commission now, and one of our most highly esteemed veteran advocates in Mick Quinn. This is not about divide and conquer. This is not about your political this or your political that. Every veteran's life does matter. And we have to all come together. Not be hobbled, not be wide-handed. I got pretty well tried. They tried to stop me getting here. They tried to stop the walker, the noble, honourable actions of Glenn, the machine, Richards, from walking from the Shrine of Remembrance in Melbourne, 634 kilometres to be here. Empathetic to our cause. That's it. Sorry about that. I'm just a grunt. One voice for many, many voices. 7th of December, 700 plus. Can anybody give me an accurate figure? Today, 2nd of February 2021, we're sitting at 751 veterans plus. The failings of the department, the failings of governments across many, many years has to stop. The worst gut feeling, wrenching thing that I experienced out of 2020 was one of our seniors wanting not to be held accountable. Sorry, it's a chain of command, and every one of us have gone through that chain of command. Come top brass and not want to be held accountable. I don't wear that uniform anymore. But I tell you what, I do. That oath of allegiance that we all swore in defence of our Queen and our country, not one of us have unsworn that oath. If anything you take from me, also the passion of the late Medal of Gallantry winner, posthumously awarded our 100 VC in Corporal Cameron Stewart Baird, our 100 VC. His words, aspire to inspire. They drive me. They look after me. They protect the car and they protect every veteran that I represent and their families. I got thrown. It's not about you, Glenn Marskell. Well, it's not about you, Senator, either. And it is definitely not about me. It's about righting injustices, holding the perpetrators of offences to account, finding the root of evil of the veteran taking his life, and getting justice for the victim. Not for them to be ostracised, treated like crap. Hurdle after hurdle, barricade after barricade. I've been fighting my fight since 2003. We're in 2021. Why have I still not got my dental? I probably would have went away and not known I had any more recourse. But they throw a barricade at a brick wall. In 2018, I had an AAT. They ruled in my favour for my dental. It wasn't added to my white card until August of 2019. In 2019, I got 5 fillings. Whoa. 5. I have a denture that's over 25 years old, held together by super glue. Is that acceptable? No. Why am I such a threat? I just want justice.
We're all a threat, mate. We're all a threat.
I hope from today this all gets put out there as far. I know that there's people in Europe possibly watching right now. In England, they're watching right now. And in the United States, they're watching right now. Everyone, including myself, was expecting a lot more people here. A lot more people to speak. No, it's not about Glenn Marskell. It's about 750 plus veterans that have taken their lives. This is what this is about. They need to start taking notice. They have to start taking notice. Because last I worked out, they work for us. But we're a veteran. And we're treated like lower than second-class citizens in our own country that we freely chose to defend under orders. I have no orders for you. I stand here as a voice for many voiceless. Through that whiting that happened, but I'm still here. And you are here. I know you'll be back here on Anzac Day. If you can't attend here, I know that you will attend some big Parliament, state, and there'll be a lot more. We'll come together. From little things, big things grow. I couldn't do it. I'm here. I've done it. At the end of today, the reins get passed over to Mick Quinn, and I fully support nothing but an independent Royal Commission, because veterans' lives matter. I don't want to sit on the phone for 7-10 hours getting a veteran through the darkness of the night in a remote country area. Oh, he could have been substance abuse, he could have been this, that, the other. You know what? He could have, would have, and you said you were going to be here. You want to be a keyboard warrior? Stop being keyboard warriors. Be doers. Be doers for your community like you were in that uniform. I know every one of you veterans that are here today are very proud of your communities and the work you do. Peter, hey, you do great things for a lot of men, a lot of women out there. You all do. But doing this, by making a stand, we are going to make a difference. I've got a couple more I want to speak with. Glenn Richards done 634 kilometres, most honourable and noble act by a civilian, in my eyes. The most dangerous piece of road in our nation.
He's not a civilian, Glenn, he's one of us.
He is one of us now, whether he likes it or not. Very, very true and very correct. A couple of times he had to get pulled up, start waving the flag around, you get a little bit... then we had a few hurdles, we had very, very extreme temperatures, especially when he crossed into our state, into New South Wales. And then he got struck with some weather, and we had a few hiccups along the way. We both copped a few knocks along the way, yeah? My duty of care was to this walker, to get him here. We could have had him here maybe 2 or 3 days ago, actually. And my fondest memory of being his escort, allowed to be his escort, to get him here safely to this hallowed ground. I've run up Wagga Hill, as many of you veterans would have done in the past. On the old Wagga Hill, not the new one. The new one's still got, remember that pinch right near the top? I had him about 700 metres from the top of Wagga Hill, and I went, I've got time to get over the top and get to the parking bay. Get out, possibly go to the toilet, get my dog out. We ran over the hill. Well, I was only about 4 minutes. I didn't even have time to get out of the car. And all of a sudden I see the Aussie flag and I'm like, are you for real? And he's walking. But when we did Wagga Hill, we did it in full pack and kit and stuff like that. Irrespective, he was only walking, and he flogged me up there. Right. Glenn, can you come forward, please, and introduce yourself? And you are part of the veteran family now. Whether you want it or not, you justly deserve it.
I'm totally blown away by the whole thing. I'm nothing special. I don't proclaim to be anything special. I'm just a bloke who went for a walk. You know, and I did that walk because you couldn't, and it was that simple. I've done the whole thing, you know, from start to finish. In fact, even before I started it, I firmly believed, and I still firmly believe, that it was God's will that I do it. So before I even started, I was absolutely committed that I was going to follow this through to the end, whatever that looks like. And the reason is simple, because it was God's will. Because I believe in my heart that you didn't just fight for Australia, you fought for God's will. You fought to uphold what they fought for in World War I and World War II, that there should always remain above all else a distinguishable difference between right and wrong. That you go out and you serve your country so I can have the life that I do, so I can get up each morning and butter my toast. You put everything on the line for us. And when you go out, and when those who are serving Australia today, when they go out and they put everything on the line, so people like me can get up of a morning and butter our toast, you should know beyond a shadow of a doubt, it shouldn't even be a question, that when you are done fighting for your country, when you are done serving your country, that when you come home, your country will be here for you. Your country will look after you the way that you have looked after it. And if your country does not look after you the way that you have looked after it, well then quite simply they do not deserve you. And I would say that to everybody that is currently serving Army, Navy, Air Force. How is it going to be for you when you are done your service? They're not going to care. Australians need to care. All of us. Because without your service, we wouldn't have a place to call Australia. Without your service, we wouldn't have anything. We wouldn't have Sydney, we wouldn't have Melbourne, we wouldn't have any of it at all. So the fact that I've been able to do this walk for you is an honour and a privilege. Wow, you guys are the superheroes. I'm just a bloke that went for a walk. One other thing. During the course of this, I've been able to watch what that fella right there has been through. I know nothing of his struggle, right? I know nothing of, or very little of what he's had to deal with in keeping this show on the road. But I know it's been hard for him. If he had known in advance what he was biting off, he still would have done it, but I think he would have thought twice. Wow. You know, he's held it together all the way. He's had people trying to tear him down. He's had people trying to attack the page, attack the walk, attack the rally. I don't know nothing of that. But what I do know is that it's been hard for him. It's been a very hard 3 weeks. But he's kept it together. You know, they said he couldn't do it. Well, he did it. Much to my surprise, he did it. Wow. You know, wow.
8 times the size. And they're going to be exporting that clean energy to the world as well as using it to manufacture goods in
So this here, okay, some tractors about the red one. Way too far. Top of my car is inscribed. The car is like a Australian flag wrap on there. The most important message out of the whole story of everything on there, saying this flag does not just represent the people who live under it, but more importantly, it represents the people who have died under it. Okay? We will never forget that. I'm going to hand over to a gentleman who has another bit of a message for you and a lot of energy to hand to you in his brief story. Okay? Roland, would you like to come forward, please? Roland will self-explain who he is and what he wishes to pass on.
Those are the ones who we need to be putting pressure on.
To go back to your communities.
They're enabling the dealers in our country
and pay the respect.
our fossil fuel
Roland.
And unless we do something about that, we're not going to get there.
Can everyone hear me okay?
New electricity, you can do
You don't do that? Oh, hang on.
no sense whatsoever.
Everyone hear me all right? My name's Roland Paul Trebesius. Pardon?
You need the mic over them.
Okay, I'll speak up. My name's Roland Paul Trebesius. I'm not a veteran, although I did work at the beautiful place on the other side of the lake for 20 years, over 20 years, as a cleaner. And my job began looking after Doug, the unknown soldier, Roll of Honour, sculptures and whatever else they wanted me to do. Now, all those names up there, they all represent people from all around Australia. They came from all different walks of life. And they all went across, did their duty, didn't come back, or if they, or the ones that did come back and didn't make it after 12 months, that's their names up there. And when Doug was interred, Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, people started to put poppies in next to names. Now, all the poppies I have here have fallen out from the Roll of Honour. Basically, some would put them in the bin. I kept them. I suppose they've been waiting for this moment. I met Glenn in Bungendore a few weeks ago, mentioned this to him, and he agreed that it was a good idea. Last night into this morning, I put together 751 poppies, and when I worked at the War Memorial, in the grounds a lot, I would meet people from all over the place. And I would ask them, is there someone there on the roll that they know or knew or family member? And the basis of it is that when someone puts one of these poppies in the Roll of Honour, they're either reading a name or they're reading a name and thinking of someone. So in my opinion, in this poppy here, there is an ethereal energy. There's been so much emotion that has been shed over that, around those walls. It's like the walls have been painted with emotion. So I feel this energy is still there. So what I used to say to people, and it's what I'm saying now, is take it back with you to where you're from and put it somewhere that is important, either a relative or someone you knew. Just put it back. It's like a full circle on an ethereal level. Okay? Anyway, That's mine. So if anyone would like one of these, please feel free, come up, grab it, take it back to where you come from. Doesn't need to go back there. It's done its job. Thank you very much. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Roland.
And I'll be passing them on to Glenn, or whoever Glenn wants to put them to.
Importantly here with this ethereal energy and these poppies,
Thank you very much.
I will pass on quite a few. And as Roland said, take them back to your communities, take them back to Gundawindi, take them back to, where are you from there, Gary? Ararat. Take them back to your hometowns.
That's right.
Hand them out with your veterans. More importantly, if you have a loved one in your community, place that in their memory. You have veteran friends, you've lost so many. 750 plus veterans now. Not one more. Not one more. And please, governance of this country, listen to what your veterans that are given freely of their service. Listen to us. We want nothing but what? Justice. We want an independent Royal Commission and nothing more than that. Not a commissioner, as heard by Pete, he can put a whole lot in it, Trevor, but there's a lot more people, a lot more influential, a lot more smart than me. I'm just this little tiny piece of the jigsaw that keeps growing and growing and growing. The anger, not only inside the veteran community, but also the service personnel at the moment. We're losing service personnel at an alarming rate. A lot of you younger veterans, but these blokes that used to serve with, they're still in, you're out. The compounded hurt, failed governance, and the top brass. The only fix to this is an independent Royal Commission for the failings of both the Department of Veteran Affairs and the governance of this great nation, our home, our land. We freely swore our oath of allegiance. I'm not backing down and I'm not taking a step back. Come a long way. I'll continue to do my work. But today, the culmination when you choose to leave, the reins go over to Mick Quinn. And this make Anzac Day 2021 one that our ancestors will be proud of, and one that will be more importantly, those 751 by Anzac Day we could be getting closer to 800. We show them that we care, that we will keep fighting for the injustices that has caused those veterans to take their lives. I know each and every one of you have the same drive and passion to keep this going. So if you're out there on the live stream, I hope you're hitting likes, I hope you're hitting shares. We will not go away.
Where's Jackie?
Can you ask Jackie that question?
Where's the veteran senator?
This to happen? She's been sold out.
Not my words. Would you like to come and say that, sir? Can you come and say that?
Just a very simple thing. Where is Jackie? Can we all ask that? Where is Jackie?
Where is Jackie?
Come on out, Jackie. We're just here.
We're not dividing. We're not anything other than for the cause. Hey, where are you, Jackie? You were going to come down here and greet the walker. You should be coming down here and greeting the veterans. political alliances just out the other side. We're only here for one reason. We are Veterans' Lives Matter, and we're not going to go away. You don't want to come down and talk to us? Shows your true allegiance. But we're for the one cause and the one and just cause. And give us that Royal Commission, Prime Minister. Do one honourable thing in your tenure in the House. Rewrite the injustices of over 106 years. More importantly, the injustices from 1976 onwards. Give us what we, the veterans, and we, the people. It's all we. It's not a me. It's not Jackie Lambie. It's the memories and the loss of the grieving mothers and fathers, of husbands and wives, of brothers and sisters that we do this for. Thank you for your attendance.
Thanks very much for all that.
Little crosses. Well, next time we come together, when we go to these parliaments on Anzac Day, in supporting the bigger cause here, white crucifixes. If you know a veteran has taken his life and you have his details, place it on a white crucifix, or a set of boots. And more importantly, some of these poppies that Roland has generously passed down, this energy, adorn the lot. We will get bigger media, even though I've probably got the best one here at the moment, because he can't be corrupted, you know. He's one of us, and he's doing the right thing for the right reasons. We're not getting diverted or deflected in any other direction other than doing what is right. More numbers, more support. Day by day, steps forward, forward, forward. It's definitely not the end of this. Not the end of this by a long shot. And the government soon are not going to have much choice other than to give us what we rightly deserve in that Royal Commission. Mingle with, yeah. Yes, they do. Yeah.
So basically we're just trying to build a line. So we're just trying to
He knows, obviously.
It's pretty awesome. From little things, big things grow. I'm honoured to have served in my small way in keeping this out there, keeping this up and relevant in this political climate and our sad times with this corona. It's happening in this awesome nation of ours. But from this day forward, Veterans for a Royal Commission will grow in intensity. And I hand the reins back now to Mick Quinn for Veterans for a Royal Commission. If you're not on his page, go to his page. Right? If you haven't signed the petition, Julianne has one, and there's 6 other ones out there. Julianne's is getting close to 400,000 signatures. Keep hitting those signatures on those petitions. Let's get their numbers up there. And this next time when we come as a collective under Mick Quinn's guidance, from this day forward, we come in our thousands, not just a few individuals. Why do we do this? Because veterans' lives matter, Australia. Veterans' lives matter. Thank you.
Tune in tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Bye for now.